This program is brought to you by Link TV for educational and non-commercial use only. Mosaic, a daily news program from Link TV, presents a selection of news reports from independent and state-controlled broadcasters from throughout the Middle East.
At least 52 people were killed, including 10 employees of the United Nations High Commissions for Refugees, and 43 others were injured in two booby-trapped cars that shook the Algerian capital.
Two violent explosions shook one of the most important suburbs of the Algerian capital, killing and wounding dozens of people. The two simultaneous explosions were detonated from booby-trapped cars. The first car exploded in the Bin Akoun area, in the heights of the Algerian capital, in front of the Constitution Council headquarters near the Supreme Court. The second booby-trapped car was being driven by a suicide bomber who targeted the headquarters of the UN High Commission in the upscale Haidar neighborhood near the Bin Akoun area. It is a sensitive neighborhood and houses the most important embassies in Algeria.
We can confirm that there were two booby-trapped cars. The local police precinct confirmed that a suicide bomber was driving the car.
Ambulances rushed to the scene to treat the wounded and transport the victims. The security forces placed a security cordon on the road leading to the area.
They were all innocent job seekers on the road. The perpetrators' goals are known. They want to bring down Algeria. But Algeria will never fall and will never be brought to its knees.
These two explosions came after a period of relative calm in Algeria, where the danger of violence was reduced to its lowest levels during the month of November. After the passing of a decade, Algeria was beginning to turn a new page and heal from its wounds. Sihamin's Mouche, Al-Arabiya.
We are joined in the studio by Abdullah Sabah, an Algerian journalist. Abdullah, first, let us look back in time and examine the sequence of events that have taken place in Algeria. By drawing a parallel between the sequence of events and the conditions and the nature of these two latest bombing attacks, can you guess who might be behind today's explosions?
The nature and the characteristics of the two bombings suggest that they were carried out by Al-Qaeda in the land of the Islamic Maghreb. Since March 11, 2007, all bombing attacks in Algeria and surrounding provinces were launched in a similar fashion. Booby-trapped cars, or cars driven by suicide bombers, were used in all previous bombing attacks. In addition, the targets have been always the same, which include government buildings, military bases, and certain headquarters of foreign companies. Consequently, I believe that today's bombing attacks might have been carried out by Al-Qaeda in the land of the Islamic Maghreb.
Let us assume that the attacks were carried out by Al-Qaeda in the land of the Islamic Maghreb. Having said that, Al-Qaeda organization received several blows in the past, yet it was able to deliver an attack by striking vital installations in the country. What does this indicate?
The fact of the matter, this is a reason and effect analogy. Many knowledgeable experts in Algeria have expected that it's a matter of time before Al-Qaeda in the land of the Islamic Maghreb will carry out a considerable attack aimed at reassuring its followers and supporters. In addition, Al-Qaeda wants to flex its power, especially after receiving several blows by the Algerian security forces. This news comes after the arrest of the second man in Al-Qaeda in the land of the Islamic Maghreb and the arrest of a senior official in Algeria. In addition, the security authority has dismantled several Al-Qaeda support networks in the Algerian capital and surrounding provinces and uncovered a large cache of explosives there. All these events indicate that it was a matter of time before Al-Qaeda carries out a considerable attack in Algeria. By launching the attack, Al-Qaeda wants to shock public opinion, generate media attention, and demonstrate that it is still on the front line.
Algeria is trying to make constitutional amendments. Meanwhile, Al-Qaeda wants to reorganize itself, especially after the latest blows it has received. What types of effects will this have at the national level, and the steps President Abdulaziz Bouteflika is trying to take?
It's rational to assume that these latest incidents have something to do with the political developments in the country. This news comes as several civic society organizations and political parties started to call for a third presidential term for Abdulaziz Bouteflika and hence amending the constitution. This news suggests that the Algerian regime might have been able to make some political achievements on the ground. Therefore, these types of attacks undermine anything that the Algerian authority is intending to do in the upcoming stage.
Israel holds an olive branch in one hand and a gun in the other. This has always been the case with Israel. One day before it started the peace negotiations with the Palestinians, its military war machine launched one of the largest military operations in months against Gaza, murdering 7 Palestinians and raising question marks about the wisdom behind the Palestinian-Israeli peace negotiations to be held tomorrow. We leave you with Hasmet Tarabi.
What you hear is a wailing mother who insists on kissing her dead son on his forehead before he is taken away. This tragic scene has been repeated many times in Gaza, even as Palestinian and Israeli officials are about to sit down at the negotiation table. Peace negotiations have not stopped the Israeli occupation army from attacking northern and southern Gaza using many different military tactics.
Help us!
Early in the morning, as the residents of Bet Hanun were saying their goodbyes to one of their martyrs who died in an Israeli air raid last night, the Israeli military launched a wide-scale military incursion against the city of Rafah. The Israeli forces used a huge number of war machinery, which we could not even count, to invade the city under heavy air cover. They moved from one home to the other and clashed with armed Palestinians. The number of Palestinian casualties was larger this time. 3 were martyred and 13 others were injured.
There is no God but God.
Gaza's children are looking forward to a better future despite the difficult living conditions. On their small shoulders, they are carrying school books, which might be their strongest weapons in the future in fighting the Israeli ambitions.
Joining us from Gaza are correspondent Zuhair Saqallah. Zuhair, what is the situation in Gaza and what is the latest toll of casualties caused by the Israeli incursion?
نعم أمال لا تزال عملية التوغل الإسرائيلية في منطقة الفخاري جنوب.
Yes, the Israeli incursion is still ongoing in the Al-Fukhari area of southeastern Rafah. The incursion started at dawn when the Israeli tanks arrived at the road of Salah al-Din, the main road between Khan Yunis and the city of Rafah in southern Gaza. The Israelis cut off this road in order to isolate the Rafah province from the rest of Gaza. News reports indicated that 6 Palestinians were martyred in southern Gaza in the ongoing incursion, and that another Palestinian was martyred earlier in Beit Hanun in northern Gaza. However, other news reports indicate that only 3 Palestinians were martyred in Al-Fukhari, and that 3 bodies were still laying in the midst of the ongoing operation, and thus their martyrdom has not yet been confirmed.
والثلاثة الآخرين لم يتأكد استشهادهم حتى هذه اللحظة أو أن جثثهم لا تزال باقية في موقع العملية.
Was today's incursion in preparation for a wide-scale invasion of Gaza, especially when considering the latest Israeli threats?
بناء على ما فهمناه من مصادر الجيش الإسرائيلي مكتب الناطق باسم الجيش الإسرائيلي.
The spokesperson of the Israeli army said that this incursion is only an ordinary military operation. He said that it is a routine operation against the Palestinian resistance and what he called the infrastructure of the resistance in order to uncover tunnels and weapons in the area. He said that this is not the large military operation that Israel has been threatening to launch in Gaza. Israeli officials are debating whether they should or should not carry out the anticipated wide-scale military operation. Some ministers are demanding that this military operation be launched soon. Other ministers, however, say that such a military operation will cost Israel a great deal because the Palestinian resistance has become more powerful, which became evident during the ongoing incursion in Al-Fukhari area. A large number of the Israeli occupation army have been injured by missiles launched by the Palestinian resistance. Israel itself has acknowledged that it is facing well-trained groups.
تواجه مجموعات مدربة بشكل عظيم جدا.
On International Human Rights Day, American and Israeli reports confirmed the spread of racism in the United States and Israel.
وافق شن طبقة تقريران يؤكدان تفشي العنصرية.
Like father, like son, two reports confirm that racism is spreading in Uncle Sam's country and its ally, Israel. The U.S. Human Rights Network, which is made up of 250 civic organizations, published a report in response to a report by its government, which was recently presented to the United Nations Committee on the Elimination of Racial Discrimination. The report confirmed that American minorities, including Muslims, Africans, and Latinos, face discrimination in various fields, including election, law enforcement, and education. It added that immigrants, including women and children, are often treated unjustly. A report entitled Turning a Blind Eye to Injustice says that U.S. authorities arrest many minorities and charge and sentence them more than their white counterparts. Also, the number of minorities in American prisons is on the rise. It added that minority-concentrated areas do not receive enough financial resources to provide adequate education. Meanwhile, the annual report by the Association for Civil Rights in Israel seemed to be concerned with increased racism against Arabs, at a time when this sentiment seems to be increasing in various forms as fast as the speed of light. The report revealed that according to current polling data, 55% of Israelis agree with the policy of displacing Palestinians and oppose living with them in residential buildings. Meanwhile, nearly half of Israelis oppose befriending Arabs or allying with parties that represent them in the government. What is both notable and frightening about the Israeli report is that it confirms that Israel's hate and racism is being translated into action, which is not being condemned by official institutions of the enemy Israeli state, beginning with chanting death to Arabs during soccer games and ending with the passing of racist laws in the Knesset. Observers ask, how is it that Israel was created by confiscating land and displacing its residents? And how was the United States established upon the genocide of the Red Indians in parallel to the principles of equality and justice? Furthermore, the U.S. makes demands upon the world and invades countries in the name of spreading freedom, democracy, and defending human rights.
President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad attended a face-to-face Q&A session with domestic and foreign reporters. He characterized positive the report by the National Intelligence Estimate, NIE, on Iran, saying any further move to sanction Iran would lack legal substance. On an Iraqi proposed security pact, he said, Tehran welcomes any proposal which improves constructive cooperation and establishment of sustainable security in the region. He added security can be within easy reach if and when regional countries alone take the initiative. Asked about his trip to Iraq, Mr. Ahmadinejad said preparations for his visit are being made. He added Iran-US talks on Iraq security have produced tangible results, among them efforts to stabilize and strengthen the Baghdad government. Iran has yet to announce an exact date for the fourth round of talks with the U.S. on Iraq security. Iran's ambassador to Iraq, Hassan Kazemi, said Tehran has accepted to sit down for another round of talks, adding, the timing of the negotiations will be announced when it is finalized. Qami said the upcoming talks would be a follow-up of the previous rounds, which will come across in the presence of experts. His remarks come after Iraqi Foreign Minister Hoshyar Zebari announced on Monday the Iran-US session will sit on December 18th. World powers failed to reach accord on the content of a new resolution aimed at slapping more sanctions on Iran. Spokesman for the U.S. Secretary of State Sean McCormack broke the news hours ago, saying ranking officials from the U.S., China, Russia, France, Britain, and Germany discussed in a 1.5-hour-long telephone conference a draft sanction resolution on Iran's nuclear program. McCormack said the talks failed to produce the intended results, but that a resolution is highly hoped to be reached in the coming weeks.
During a one-day official visit to Turkey, King Abdullah II will meet with the Turkish President Abdullah Gül and the Turkish Prime Minister Recep Tayyip Erdogan. The visit demonstrates the deep friendship and the close ties between the two countries.
يرى عدد كبير من الخبراء في السياسة التركية أنها قد تتجه إلى لعب دور أكبر في الشرق الأوسط وقد يصل في مرحلة من المراحل.
Many experts on Turkish policy predict that Turkey's influence in the Middle East will grow, helping it to regain its historic role in the region. This role, however, will have a new face. It will be less powerful with less influence. This is due to root changes in Turkish politics, which are slow-moving internally, but which are quickly developing on the regional level. The economy is one of the most important factors allowing Turkey to regain its regional role.
التي ستسمح لتركيا باستعادة دورها الإقليمي. ففي عام 2006 حققت تركيا المركز ال18 للدول الأعلى نمواً في العالم من حيث.
In 2006, Turkey was ranked the 18th fastest-growing country in its domestic production. Its growth continued steadily over the past 5 years, averaging 5 to 8% a year, thus placing it directly below Belgium and Sweden. For several decades, Jordan and Turkey have had a unique historical relationship, reflected on various levels. King Abdullah II visited Turkey in 2005. This visit will be the first visit since Gül came into power.
ويشكل الاقتصاد التركي واحدا من أكبر اقتصاديات العالم.
Turkey's economy is one of the strongest in the Islamic world. It is also the leading and the most dynamic economy in the region. Turkey's geographical location enables it to have one of the largest networks for transporting fuel in the world. This is why the two countries are planning to sign several agreements, with the free trade agreement currently on the negotiating table.
للتجارة الحرة والتي يجري التفاوض عليها حاليا.
لدى تركيا رصيد قوي دبلوماسية وهي تنتهج سياسة متعقلة.
Turkey holds a strong diplomatic position because of its active and moderate diplomacy. On the one hand, it has good relations with Jordan and most, if not all, of the Arab countries. It's particularly becoming more visible involved with the Palestinian Authority.
وبالأخص بدور متنامي وظاهر مع الإدارة الفلسطينية وهو عنصر هام جدا في من حيث أنها تستطيع أن تلعب الدور الوسيط.
On the other hand, Turkey also has good relations with Israel, the other part of the equation. So Turkey plays an important role as an intermediary that is accepted by all involved parties in regards to the Middle East conflict.
وسيط مقبول من كافة النواحي.
يذكر أن مجلس الأعمال الأردني التركي الذي أنشئ عام 1994 قد ساهم في اجتذاب 80.
The Turkish Jordanian Business Council, established in 1994, succeeded in drawing $80 million from Turkish investments. During the first half of this year, Turkey's imports into Jordan reached $215 million, while Jordan's exports into Turkey reached $11 million. King Abdullah will visit 3 European countries in less than 24 hours. After completing his visit to Ankara, the king will visit Paris to meet French President Nicolas Sarkozy, heading to Strasbourg afterwards. He will give an important speech there in front of the European Parliament with more than 70 members present. His speech serves to demonstrate efforts to gain international support for the Palestinian cause. The king will also present his vision for the future of Arab-European relations, pointing to the effects of peace and stability in the region on the development of these relations. Iman Al-Khor, Jordan TV, Ankara, Turkey.
إيمان العكور التلفزيون الأردني من العاصمة التركية أنقرة.
Anything is possible in Lebanon, a country that is surrounded by the sea, yet the people there are about to be thirsty. The reason is that most of the water in Lebanon is wasted and ends up in the sea. In addition, the state-run water services are not reaching Lebanese homes. Meanwhile, the Lebanese are looking for alternatives.
Water is a necessity for survival for every living thing. However, here in Lebanon, drinking water is very hard to come by. This news comes as a large portion of water in Lebanon gets wasted and ends up in the gutters and swamps. The faucets used to supply drinking water, or the so-called state-run water, are no longer serving their purpose, as many Lebanese households have become reluctant to drink tap water. Thanks to the government of Senora, water, just like everything else in Lebanon, has become a privilege that is very hard to attain, which has forced many residents to search for alternatives. May God give you health. Can you tell us what you're doing?
I am filling these containers with water, which we will deliver to the homes of our customers.
Are there many customers buying water from you?
Yes, a good percentage of customers purchase water from us. In addition, we have customers who make orders over the phone.
Today, as soon as someone has an extra $100 in his pocket, he opens up a water business. What else can he do? It's the easiest thing to do. All you need to do is build a storage system for water and install faucets. Once you fill the bottles with water, you're ready to do business.
90% of the residents are now buying recycled water, despite the fact that many of them don't trust the sources. What else can they do, especially considering the high cost of mineral water?
The water here is contaminated. This is why we are buying recycled water.
Do you trust the recycled water you're buying?
Frankly, no. I don't trust it. The water sometimes has a strange taste to it or even contains small white objects in it. However, we have no choice but to buy it because we can't afford to buy mineral water.
Why do you buy water?
Because the water is not clean. It is not good for the consumption of any living thing, including dogs.
I buy drinking water because the tap water is not good. For years, the tap water has not been good to drink.
The water from the state is not drinkable?
Yes, I mean the water from the state is not drinkable.
Although some are still depending on water supplies from the state, many have stopped drinking tap water. Meanwhile, the residents are anxiously waiting for the local authorities to take measures to combat the randomly growing number of illegitimate water stores in the country. On September 15, 2004, Lebanon issued a water quality law which mandated that all water sold in bottles must meet water treatment and purification standards and must be within chemical and physiological legal requirements.
As a monitoring agency, we can't keep track of the number of stores that are currently selling recycled water bottles. There are new stores opening every day. We can't keep on top of the problem because new businesses are being opened every day. The residents share part of the blame because they should investigate where their drinking water is coming from.
A source bothered by the problem confirmed to the NBN channel that many of these stores don't meet health requirements and don't adhere to water storing and bottling regulations and standards. In addition, some of the store owners don't make efforts to purify their water, but rather store it in containers and sell it under the company's names and trademarks. This raises a question. How is the local authority dealing with the issue? Approximately how many water stores are operating legally?
According to recent estimates that were conducted during the past 2 years, there are roughly 400 water stores. Now there are more than 1,000 or even 2,000 stores selling recycled water bottles. We don't know the exact number.
In your opinion, why don't the local authorities or agencies go ahead and close or stop these shops?
Until now, there are no laws that can be used to close them down.
As these drops of water continue to fall, the rights of the citizens continue to fall as well. This is due in part to the negligence of the current administration. Why doesn't the Lebanese government take measures to secure drinking water to the homes of residents? And why doesn't it empower the role of its local agencies? With this, the residents will stop buying their water from these stores that sell questionable water. From Beirut, Rana Aywaida, NBN.
It's one of Islam's holiest sites, the grave of Prophet Muhammad's grandson in Iraq. Millions of Shia Muslims flocked to the tomb in the holy city of Karbala for prayers and blessings. The grave is now proving something of a money spinner. Millions of tourists, mainly from neighboring Iran, are flocking to the shrine and other holy sites across the country, and that's helping to generate an estimated $3 billion a year for Iraq's economy, as John Cookson reports.
Shia pilgrims believe this shrine at Karbala is a gateway to heaven. It's easy to see why. The city has 100 mosques, but the tomb of Imam Hussein, Prophet Muhammad's grandson who died in battle at Karbala, this is the one they come to see. It's over 1,000 years old and has survived numerous attempts by invading armies to destroy it. Now another invasion of sorts is underway. Tourists by the million.
Religious tourism in Iraq is regarded as the biggest source for economic growth. More than 1.5 billion Muslims regard this city as significant and holy, especially Shiites.
Since Saddam Hussein was toppled in 2003, Iraq has eased its border restrictions on pilgrims from Iran. The Baghdad government estimates it will earn $3 billion a year from religious tourism to centers like Karbala. Millions are being poured into improving the shrines, and the tourists like what they see. This Iranian woman says, I came here 4 years ago. Now I find everything's amazing. It's clean. It's getting better. Security remains a big issue. Earlier this year, a massive car bomb exploded 200 meters from the shrine, killing nearly 50. 2 weeks before, another bomb claimed 55 lives. Now security is wholly in the hands of the Iraqi army and local police, and so far stringent checkpoints have prevented further bombs. This adds up to good economic times ahead for Karbala's hotel industry.
More and more people are coming to Karbala, and this is a good thing.
Early next year, the Ashura festival will attract millions more Shia pilgrims to Karbala. The city's expecting record numbers as religious tourism becomes a major income earner for the new Iraq. John Cookson, Al Jazeera, Iraq.
What are you giving this holiday season? Is it this? Or this? Or maybe this? This year, why not make a change? And give your friends and family the world. Now it's easy and meaningful to give the gift of Link TV. Just go to linktv.org or call 1-866-485-8848 to honor those you care about with a tax-deductible gift in their name to Link TV. Choose from one of 3 designs and have a personalized holiday card sent to everyone on your list, letting your loved ones know you've made them official sponsors of Television Without Borders. This holiday season, remember peace on Earth is possible when we see the world without borders. Happy holidays from Link TV, and don't forget to send your card today.
Get more news about the Middle East online at linktv.org/Mosaic. The Mosaic webpage offers a complete archive of Mosaic programs, program transcripts, the Mosaic Video Podcast, and the Mosaic Intelligence Report, a weekly analysis of the hottest stories from the Middle East. The views expressed on Mosaic are those of the participating broadcasters, not Link TV or its sponsors. The production of Mosaic is made possible with the support of viewers like you. Thank you. This program was brought to you by Link TV for educational and non-commercial use only. Link TV is the only U.S. television network devoted to global and national news, with uncompromising documentaries and diverse cultural programs which connect you to the world.